Mike Angie.
Yeah.
Nice
Hi,
to
Mandy.
see you. Hello. We obviously know each other incredibly well and have done for a long time. And I suppose, how long have you known Mr. Turner for?
Oh, I reckon me and Mandy have known each other for 4 or 5 years.
I think that's about right, yeah.
And we often call you Mrs. Turner.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
It came about when we was going off to
I went to a conference, didn't they?
And they got my name wrong, didn't they? They thought we were Mr. and Mrs.
Yes.
And my badge come back as Mrs. Turner, and I've carried that ever since.
What conference were you two at that I wasn't at?
We went to a conference for the charity, didn't we, over in Yeovil Way?
It was a beautiful place, wasn't it? It was in regards to what they offer, and basically it was mainly signposting, wasn't it? Getting to know other people. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember who organised it now.
It was
Spark.
Yes, it was.
It was Spark. It was my first ever one.
Was it?
Yes, it was. It was.
I just remember the food was pretty good. Yeah.
You remember?
Yeah.
Me too.
They had really nice egg sandwiches, and I think they also had chicken legs.
Oh, I can't remember the chicken legs.
I love an egg sandwich. It's my favourite.
Well, mine's favourite is
I'd love an egg and cress sandwich. If you were going to make me a sandwich, it's got to have mayonnaise, like chopped up. I also like chopped up egg.
Oh, egg.
With the mayonnaise. And I like chopped up tomato without skins. So when I was a child, I did home economics. And home economics, I loved cooking anyway. We both knew that. And they taught you how to skin a tomato.
Oh.
So I was taught how to skin a tomato, and if you skin a tomato and then you put it into, chop it up and put it in egg with mayonnaise and a little bit of salt and pepper, it's to die for. And it's almost like my child party food.
Really?
Very nice.
Yeah, I never had a party as a kid, but it's that kind of, that
I know what's for lunch now.
I was just thinking exactly the same. We know what Mrs. C's
I haven't
making
even
next.
thought that. So we were talking about the fact that we're all trustees of the same charity, and I know your trepidation, fear, anxiety about becoming a trustee, and I just think it's something that parallels a lot of people's lives that are trying new things, isn't it?
For me, it was fear, and it was about not wanting to get things wrong. But actually, it isn't about that. For me to be a trustee for the charity is what I can give, and actually what I can freely give, and what I love to do. And it's around, I feel that I make a big difference in regards to the fundraising. And actually, without being able to raise some of the fundraising, we wouldn't be able to do the amazing job that we do. Where it comes to behind the scenes around all the politics, as I would say, have I learned anything along the way? I get blown away every time I see you, Mike and Rob, actually in the magic that you do. But do I learn something? Of course I do. And actually, I've started to accept now that I do give a lot, and that actually, as a trustee, it's around having the passion and having to want to give back to the community and from heart and soul, and that's what it means to me. And actually, I've got to say it, you're an amazing cook, and we come along and we have dinner, and basically, in what you've always done, and what I love about it is you've kept it alive and you've kept it real. We come along to yours and you do it so gently, and I know we come around to your house and it was just when you was on holiday, may I add, but we come around and we basically all put our ideas together, and I like that, and I very much feel an equal, even though I'm not very clever on the politics side of things, and that's not me putting myself down, that's just me keeping it real. Because actually, if I can make a difference to one person's life, I've had a couple of people that's been coming to the same event for nearly 9 years, and
that's
actually
incredible.
That is amazing.
They know my name. They know my name, and actually, I was talking to another agency in regards to what they do in the community and stuff, and they knew his name, and actually he mentioned my name because I'll always put the little 10 pence in the pot for his cake, and it makes a difference, and he'll get his change out and he'll make a difference. So that's why I do it because actually it costs nothing to give back.
But and there's a huge thing though, isn't there? And you must have found this. We've had conversations about this, about, do you give back for glory? Do you give back because it gives you a nice feeling? Do you give back because you think it's your duty as a citizen of the world? I think, why do we all do that?
I give back. The reason I give back is I feel that is it for my own glory? I don't believe it is. I believe it's because actually the community that I live in and the world as a whole is freely given back to me. And actually, for me, it's not about um, me going out there and someone knowing my name when I walk down the road. Of course, it's not about that. It's actually about if one child gets an hour's counselling, and that's through a coffee and chat, that could change their whole life. And that's what it is for me. It's not about. I always remember when I first started fundraising, and I always wanted to make sure that we raised a certain amount of money, and it had to be like this. And I believe it was you that took me to one side and said it's not about that. And once I got that perspective, it's basically, if we only raise £10 at a coffee and a chat, that £10 will heat the cabin for 2 weeks in the winter. And it's like, once I started to get all that there, and that 2 weeks will then help, I don't know, 40, 50 people if they go to the cabin and do whatever they do. I don't know, but in regards to that there, and that's why I do it. And that is why I do it.
So why do you do it?
Why do I do it? I do it because I just feel like everybody should give something back. Everyone should do something for the community or the world. And it might be that, you plant a tree, or you help pick up rubbish off the beach, or it could be anything. But I think everybody should do something. And I've always been involved with a charity of some kind for probably about 15 years now. Been doing bits and pieces. I've moved around, done different things, because I think also you can get a bit stale sometimes. If you do the same thing all the time, you need to bring new blood into organisations to make things change. And I wanted to pick up on Mandy's point about people knowing her name, because it's amazing. Whenever we post a photo of Mandy or Mandy at an event on Facebook or Instagram, it is by far the one that gets the most level of interest. And I can't wait for this podcast to go out, because I reckon it'll be one of the best ones, because everybody loves Mandy. You talk to anybody, and anybody that knows Mandy, you're such a lovely, kind-hearted person. I think it's amazing. I really do.
But that's that bit that what you're saying about giving back is that, that whole, I know it's something that both you and I have been taught to do, and it's something that that lovely motto, you only keep what you have by giving it away. And if you don't give it away, then you're holding on to it, and then you don't express that, and therefore people don't learn, and you don't get affirmed about your knowledge, and also you don't hear yourself going, oh yeah, actually, that is what I believe, or actually I need to do something about that and change that. And if you're transferring that through verbal communication, or indeed making somebody a cup of coffee, and by the way, your coffee looks disgusting. I don't think I've ever made you coffee that week.
Yeah, actually tastes really nice.
Does it?
Yeah.
Just don't get it on your white dress.
Yeah, please don't. But if you don't do that, then actually it's quite selfish, really, isn't it? Because you've been given knowledge. We've all been given knowledge in a certain way, and it's like, but also that important point of, do I get stale? And I think you don't get stale if you. The word permeate comes out, but I don't know whether that's the right word. You share it. If you share it and get yourself out there, actually it's not stale, because you're learning. I learn from you, I learn from you, you learn from me. It's all that exchange of information and knowledge and
it's
love.
about taking those ideas on board. It's about the team you're with. There's a lot of organisations that I've been involved with who have had the same trustees or the same steering group for the last X number of years, and just trying to make a small change is incredibly difficult. And I think that's something that a lot of charities, I think probably nationwide, do struggle with. And I think, and there's an element of it because they're scared to make change. What they do works. It could be better, it could be worse, but because that's how they've done it, they're very scared to make any change. And I think what I really enjoy about Somewhere House Somerset is that we come with ideas. We're willing to try things. It doesn't always work. A great example is we bought loads of stuff to help merchandise. That's the word. And we thought, that'd be a really good way to get the name of the charity out, and we might make some money for the charity at the same time. And it's not quite worked, but it doesn't matter. It's something that someone came with an idea. We tried it. We've talked about other ideas. With the idea of getting the porter cabin and things like all of that, I think is really exciting that we're able to be proactive and make those changes, which, the knock-on effect is we can help more people, we can see more people, and the community knows more about us, and supports us.
And but how do you access support for yourself as a trustee?
Through each other. Through each other. I mean, it's, for me, it's, it's not just a trustee of the charity. We're actually, I'm truly blessed because I've got you both. I've got Rob, and actually, like, I can come in, have a coffee and bounce my idea, which might be a bit crazy to me. And actually, it's okay. And there's no better feeling when it's okay, because it's one of those where it's, that's how we work together as a team, isn't it? And it's, one of the things that you've just said, and like, we get out there, the merchandise, basically, it was a great idea. It's still a great idea, but it's one of those that our community know we're there. They know that the last Saturday of every month we are in Burnham-on-Sea at the Coffee and Chat, and we will be there. And that's the bit. We didn't need to sell a water bottle to chuck Somewhere House Somerset out there, because actually they know we're there already. And it's that, in regards to social media, and I struggle with social media a little bit. I know, but you're both aware that I struggle with technology. I'm getting better, and actually really well. I know how to do a hashtag now, and that's quite massive for me. And it's, but it's, I believe that by doing that there, and just by being consistent, and when I believe it was both of yourselves that said, let's do it so that it's the same date every month. It's made a massive difference. It's made a massive difference. Coming out into Cheddar and being the first Tuesday of the month is beginning to make a difference, and it's still very new, but we're there. We're there. And, even if it's the gentleman who comes in and cleans the church, comes in with a smile and says, good to see you still here. That's what makes the difference, isn't it?
But coming back to the hashtag bit and the technology bit, I hope you don't mind me saying this out loud, but you are very dyslexic.
I am.
And I have great joy because Dave, my husband, is very dyslexic too. And between the two of you, I get a whole new language, which I know what you're talking about, but the rest of the population wouldn't have a clue what you're talking about. And also we have great joy of reading some of your messages at work that absolutely are the wrong words. What's some of your favourite ones, ma'am?
I believe, and I will say this live on air, that I actually called the mayor the major the other day, which I really did not do, Leslie, if you are watching this, I really did not do. And that's it. And I feel that was a big part of me holding back from wanting to be a trustee. And actually, so I came along, I believe, for about 18 months. And I remember being given a computer, and I used to do the notes, and those notes were, when I look back at them now, those notes were appalling. But actually, they would then get sent over to yourselves, and then you guys would tweak them, I believe.
Yeah.
And then what would happen is we would be able to send them out. But that was where my confidence started to grow. And it was, being able to sit opposite your husband and being able to bounce off each other, really, and recognising that it doesn't matter what vocabulary I've got, it's about what's in here that matters.
Completely.
And I think that's the bit, and I think that's the important bit around what we do for the charity as well. I don't have to be a top-class businesswoman to be a trustee. Actually, I'm a senior support worker, and I love doing what I do, and that's the bit. Whether my words come out wrong, and it's the spelling as well. It's not just my words come out wrong, and sometimes I have to say, I'm really not being inappropriate, and I really don't mean to be disrespectful, and if this comes out wrong, I'm sorry, but I've got that relationship with myself now to be able to do that. And actually, normally we just get everybody laughing, and that's okay too.
Is that something that has impacted on your life, the whole of your life, or is that something?
It's one of those, for me, I remember when I was at school and it was the written exams and stuff, and I was quite intellectual in regards to, I knew what I wanted to write, but I failed a lot of things because I couldn't write it. And it was one of those where I believe I wanted to be a nurse when I was 16, and I believe my nursing exams and stuff, if I had, or maybe if there was help out there, I'm sure there was, but I didn't know about it, maybe things would have turned out a little bit differently for me. But I'm also aware that it's, I know that there's a capital letter to start a sentence, and I know that, and I know there's a full stop at the end, but it's one of those that when I write it, it doesn't matter that I know it, because it still don't happen. And is that laziness, or is that, and I don't believe it is laziness, and this predicted whatever it is when you're doing
Texting,
the
yeah.
when you're on
when
the
you're on a
computer
line,
and you're doing your notes, and you can give me the writing and telling me that it's wrong, but to me it's right. And actually, what I love about the whole organisation and the charity is that I've been accepted for me.
And we do, but I know we laugh, but we laugh together, not at each other. Do you know? And we all have little things like that, don't we, that we do, and it's like, it's quite funny. I mean, we have hysterics at work, don't we? It's really is funny, you know. But what about, do you think when you said that because of that, that altered your path to a certain degree about where you went in life? And it's not for me to talk about where you ended up in life. It's for you to discuss whether you want to do that or not. But being dyslexic, and you are severely dyslexic. I mean, I remember when you showed me some of your college, the comments from one of your college saying there wasn't a single full stop or capital letter in the whole of an essay that you wrote for college. And we both laughed about it. But
2,800 words to be precise.
Yeah. And it wasn't and it's like, you can laugh about it, but realistically, you are not the only person in the world. No. And does that impact on people's long-term suffering, if you see what I'm saying?
I believe it does. I really do believe that it does. And I think, you know, one of the beautiful things that education's done nowadays is that you can have a tutor and you can have someone to help you. Did I know that? Even doing my studies, I didn't know that until actually you told me to make the phone call to the college to see what was out there. Did I think that I was going to be having assessment at the age of 48 in regards to if I was dyslexia? Not in a million years. I didn't even think it existed. Yeah. And then actually to be quite high on the spectrum, I went through my own process. So I felt a little bit embarrassed at 48 years old that this was coming up for me, but it was also, it made me feel that I wasn't alone, because things have changed. And I wouldn't have known that if it wasn't for yourself and if it wasn't for people telling me to make that phone call. Did I put off making that phone call? Of course I did, because what also happens then is it feeds into the last 47 years. Yeah. It feeds into the teacher at school telling me that you're never going to amount to anything. But actually, by picking up that phone, and it was really bad times because it was COVID at the time, and I remember having to do my assessment exam like this through a screen, basically, and I had a tutor sat opposite me and she was asking me to do these things on the computer and stuff, and for me it was horrendous. But actually afterwards, when she'd done my ticking of my assessment, and then it was the realization that actually, you know, it's been a big part of my life.
But because you talked about procrastination there, didn't you, and about how you've avoided things because of that, and do you think that in a sense still happens in your life? You procrastinate.
Yes. And it's even down to you know, we, as you know, we get our little jobs that we do each month to be able to continue doing the amazing work that we do, and then I'll like not put my hand up as in the classroom, but I say, yeah, I do that. Then afterwards, like, Mandy, why on earth did you do that? Because now you've got to, you know, I'm struggling to write my fundraising notes properly at the moment, but actually I think I've done a pretty damn good job this week. But I will say I did get a bit of help, but that's okay too, because I asked for help on it, because actually
it's okay to ask for help.
And I think it was important for me to be able to send them over to say, I've heard you guys, and this is what I'm going to do differently. The same isn't that about everything in life, isn't it? It's about having to get out of my comfort zone and having to do things. Do I put things off still? Of course I do. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't, because you know me more better than anybody else. Is it a block to me? I believe that I do push myself. I get there eventually, but sometimes it takes me a lot longer.
But you're a procrastinator as well, though, aren't you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. I put things off. And they're things that, you know, could take 5 minutes. You know, there's a phone call I've been meaning to make all week. And, you know, coming here today, you know, I was stuck in traffic, and I thought, actually, I'm going to make that phone call now. And I phoned and had the phone call, and I've been putting it off for a week. Why? It was 5 minutes just to arrange an appointment, and you think that's just insane.
And I'm not. So I'm the complete opposite of you.
So is this weird to you?
No, it's not. I understand the process. I understand your process, and I understand your process, but I don't understand why you keep doing it to yourselves, because then it takes room in your head, and I don't have space in my head to carry stuff So it has to be dealt with and it has to be sorted, because if I did carry all this stuff that I have to do, then I think I'd probably have a breakdown, because I've got too many things to organise and sort out and stuff like that. So as soon as something comes in, unless it's out of my power, I will do it straight away. And I know it can irritate other people because I'm so on the ball with it.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. I think the other day you sent an email to me and said you haven't done this yet, but you'd only asked me to do it about 3 hours before.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh yeah, I should really have just done that there and then, because it's quicker. It would have been done. But one of the reasons that I think I'm not sure procrastinate's quite the right word for why I delay things sometimes, but I remember my dad saying to me that you don't always want to reply to an email straight away, because it looks like you're, especially in a sales environment, it looks like you're desperate for the work, or you're too eager, or you're not busy enough. So as a result, you don't reply. But the problem you then have is 2 weeks later you've forgotten about it, and you've either lost that bit of work or they're chasing you. And I think that's a really hard thing to balance when you are really busy. And I completely get what you're saying around, you haven't got the space to store it in your head. And there are days where I get into bed and I'm like, right, I've done this, I've done that. And then suddenly it will come to me and go, you didn't do that. Yeah. And you're like, I can't bother to do it now. I'm too tired, I'm in bed, I can't be bothered. And you then make a note in your calendar to do it tomorrow. And you look at your calendar for tomorrow, and your calendar for tomorrow is full, it's back to back. And yeah, it's hard. And I think it's a mixture of procrastination that I have.
And avoidance.
Yeah, probably avoidance is the good word to use.
Because I hear what your dad says, and I think he's got a point. But I think that's a value. You've got to make a value judgment about what you're doing. So if somebody wants to reply to a question, which you two are really rubbish at, by the way, as trustees sometimes, and that's why I sent urgent, needs a response, please, which I've worked out that's what I'm going to have to do from now on.
We reply straight away.
Yeah, you did.
Just don't do it for everything. I've got this.
No,
thing.
I won't.
I've got this thing, right? If people put high priority on their email, I almost make it a low priority.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm like, it's who is it high priority for?
Yeah.
Because then you read it and go, well, it's not high priority for me. It's also not actually that high priority for them that's sending the email. And you think, so why have you used that? Because
that other person, the third party, might have to book it in their diary. And that's how I see it.
Possibly.
And also, you've already been asked the question a week ago, and both of you rudely ignored it. So,
I can't remember what it was, man. Did you?
It was I can, but I'm not going to say it on the thing. But I suppose for me, it's that bit where I suppose I protect you both.
I agree.
And I don't, and that's.
And I think sometimes you do that, and actually, the only person it hurts is you.
No, I don't. I'm not hurt at all. I protect you both because I don't want people to think badly of you, because I know you do some fantastic work, but I also don't want others to think badly of you. Do you see what I'm saying? So in a sense, this is a bit like my bloody kids, really.
Oh, like that, though, wouldn't we?
So that's why I'll give you a nudge.
Fair enough. But yeah, procrastination, I think it happens a lot with a lot of people, because they just put things off because they can't be bothered right now, they're a bit lazy, or they're too busy. And I think it is a problem, for a lot of people. And it's how you overcome that and how you train yourself out of it. One of the things that I have started doing now with replying to emails is actually using the function to send later, and you can choose a date and time that it sends.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I've now started doing that, which
good idea.
Makes a big difference.
You need to teach me that one. I don't know that one.
I'm not sure I want to, because you'll be sending me emails all the time. Have you done this yet? But yeah, it's stuff like that. Except using the tools and the resources you've got around. I guess that's what you're saying in terms of some of the stuff that you've been doing is using the resources and people and so on to help you.
So on reflection in life, what would you say you delayed doing that you wished you'd done sooner? That's
today, as in today,
life, your whole life.
My whole life. I wish that I went for my education. And actually, something I really wish that I'd done is maybe I've joined the Navy.
Really?
Yeah. I always wanted to be an RGN in the Navy.
Yeah.
And I was quite fit back then as well. So I was only little in it, and I was all right to do that. And then all my dreams that I wanted to follow always went against the belief of my family and my loved ones. And actually, I wish that I'd had my voice sooner so that I could have followed my dreams. And actually, I follow my dream today, but it's that 35 years later.
And I suppose the impact of that,
Yeah.
what it's, it takes away some of your choices, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does. And it's, I'm very lucky for what I have today. But it's that, I remember going to my Navy interview, and I never forget it. I even remember what I had on. So that was how important and how special it was to me. And I actually passed the exam for that because
Amazing.
It was a lot of pictures and basically stuff like that. And I managed to do that. And then I failed the medical, but I could go for the medical, and everything was all in place. And then it was, you're never going to achieve it. So then I didn't try it again. And I think that's the bit, because I always carry that message of you're never going to achieve it, where actually, it's only me that can achieve it. It doesn't have to be what other people want. It's what I put that in. And by having encouragement by the people, it helps me get to.
Oh, I'm now trying to think about your counselling.
I know, and that's the bit now. That's the bit now. When I look back at, it's been ongoing for, it will be 4 years in April. And actually, if I
this is you learned to become a fully qualified counsellor.
Yeah, and if I'd listened to yourself 3 years ago, I would have had that paperwork by now. And actually, by being in denial around the fact that I couldn't do it and I wasn't able to do it, and I think I carried my own dialogue in regards to, I used to tell myself that I'm okay where I am. And I noticed I said it to you and Dave in the kitchen the other day, in regards to my studies and why I've not sent the last bit off and stuff. And it was like, so I'm all right where I am.
So is that an element of being a bit scared, though, about what's to come?
I think it's more scared of receiving a failure.
Okay.
I think that's why I've not sent it off. I feel, and for me, and even though, it doesn't matter is like what I get in regards to you pass the course, I could get a distinction. The chances, and that's not me putting myself down, the chances of me getting a distinction with my spectrum of dyslexia is really, really high. Do you know what I mean? That's right, isn't it? I've said that right.
Yeah.
Low, sorry, is really low. So actually, for me to get a pass is amazing.
Yeah.
But I don't see that. I see that basically that a pass is still not efficient, even though it is. But it's amazing. And actually, for some of the certificates that I've got in the last 10 years. Oh, amazing. My portfolio was all right, I was looking at it the other day, not for any reason, just because I was putting a new certificate in it. I even bought myself, and it might sound silly to some people, but it's really important to me because my achievements are very special. Because if you had looked at 10 years ago, I didn't have any dreams, I didn't have anything. So it's like my little purple folder, and it's purple and it's okay. It's got 15 certificates in through distance learning and stuff that I've achieved along the way. And it's when I look at them, and I passed them okay, and I did ask for help, but I've done them. And it's like, I like them because they're quite quick and simple, and I don't have to go too intellectual, because when I have to go too intellectual, then I stunt my own self.
No, your belief stops.
My belief stops. Yeah. My belief stops, and then it's because I believe that family doesn't have to be blood, and it's my family today encourage, and then my blood family is very easy to say, oh, you need to stop while you're ahead, and so then it's that instant battle with myself. But by having my own voice and my own belief, and basically just keep going through it.
So when are you going to submit it?
I've got no choice. I have got choices. I'm going to come back with that one. I have got choices. So I basically took it to work with me last night. I didn't take it to work with me yesterday. And all I'm doing is putting the references all in together, which doesn't sound like a lot. But when you're looking at 3 years of, there's 32 books we've done, by the way, Mrs. C.
She knows the we.
There's 32 modules that we've done to be able to do that. So actually, it's not just that I've picked up one book. There's a lot of books. And it's also rounding it all off, which I want it to present really nice, because actually, you know, I like to present myself quite nicely. And it's, you know, I've come home this morning and I've come home from work and I've gone and done the horses. I'm totally blessed to do that. And like, you know, to come over to do this here, I've got myself ready, because it's important for me. And it's the same with my work, and it's and I'd like to think I carry that in my everyday work. And you know, you popped in the office yesterday and I was sat at your desk, I will be honest, and I was sat at your desk and you said, oh, you look really well, and you look really, and I was like,
you look really well yesterday.
Oh my God.
Yesterday too.
Yeah, I know, but it was just like to hear that was my sense that, God, you know what, I'm really doing this. I live my dream every day.
Which is amazing.
Which is, you know, and that is it. I live my dream every day, and I will be submitting my work.
Wow.
Fantastic.
So my plan is basically to continue doing what I'm doing. I need to make my folder up in my computer. And what you also got to remember is, and this isn't procrastination, I've been totally blessed with a new Apple Mac computer, which is completely different than the Mac that I had before. So actually it's all new and it's got all these digits. I've learned how to share an email now, thank you, Ange. And it's so I'm learning all of that as well. So the plan is to have it all completed and to have it checked over by Monday.
Fantastic. So by the 1st of August,
by Monday,
you will have submitted it.
I'm hoping to be able to show it to someone to tell me if it's ready to submit.
Yeah.
And then being able to press
That's
that send button.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So to wrap up,
yep,
what we've asked everyone that's come on is to come on again next year.
Yeah.
But what you need to do is tell us what your goal is for this time next year, so that we can do a bit of a reflection in a year's time and go, right, Mandy, did you do this?
Oh,
and you can set more than one.
I feel really emotional, because one of the beautiful things about the charity is that, and one of the beautiful things that I get freely given to me is, I would like to be able to say that in a year, I've got goosebumps, in a year, I'm going to cry, sorry, on screen, is that actually I am one of the qualified counsellors for the charity, and that I am able to be able to do that.
That'd be amazing. That'd be fantastic.
Well, there's no reason why not. And I completely have faith in you and believe that you can. In fact, you're just wasted. I mean, the reality is you don't actually have to have a qualification to be a counsellor in this country. And when I first started in practice, I wasn't qualified I wasn't diploma level. I'd done lots of other training, but I didn't have my diploma for a long time. And so therefore I was, and the reason I went on and did it was because it was the right thing to do. And that obviously I did postgrad at the same time, so I was quite fortunate, really. But you know, I can honestly say to you that I went through all of those same feelings that you did when I was doing my course. All of it. And in fact, I recently did an article for Bath Spa Alumni, and that was one of the things that I put in. I never ever thought I was educated. I mean, I didn't go to school, so at all. You know, I went to school as primary school, but I didn't go to school after that. Until I went to university, so it was like a big leap from doing that to that, and you know, I just didn't think I was capable of doing it at all. I did it. So if I can do it, you can do it, and I know you can do it as well. You know, I do know that.
Thank you.
We can all do it if we really want to.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
Come back. Come back soon.
I will. Thank you very much.